I think we executives and managers, we spend way too much time complaining about millennials and how entitled they are. And one of the problems, I think, is executives spend too much time with other executives. So therefore, we kind of commiserate and we talk about the problems. But you know what? As you spend time with the executives in your company or your most tenured employees, it's just human nature. Like when you buy a car, that new car smell eventually goes away. Your company was that new car smell for someone, and the longer someone's been in it, the harder it is for them to realize and remember what that new car smell was like. Let's just be freaking honest. People get used to shit. So that's just human nature. So we can't fight against human nature. So I like to try to spend as much time as I can with a random sampling of people in my company that are new. I think we really have to give millennials a real chance to prove themselves. And I'm gonna walk you through some of the things that we do systematically to make sure we're purposefully, or at least I am purposefully, spending time with some of our new folks. I have completely changed my job, my role, because of a millennial who showed me a different way of looking at solving problems. So I don't think we have a millennial problem. If you've got a problem with millennials, you're hiring the wrong ones, because some of them in SEER have been absolutely game-changing. So if I have to give you 4 tips on how we're dealing with entitlement in our company, first tip I have for you is do not let execs and other senior team members be the only way that you hear about the new people in your company. Reason is, they're pretty much only going to bring you the bad news, or make them systematically bring you one great person to shout out for every one person they want your help with on an issue. What you can do personally is look at the percentage of meetings you had last week. What percentage of those meetings were you in with somebody who's been at the company for less than a year? So if you look at my calendar, all these check marks are the people that I have spent time with in our company just in the last few weeks who have been here for less than a year. You can see that we have breakfast scheduled out for new people to start, where they're automatically on my calendar. So if I have time that morning, I can swing by and say hello. There are a ton of different things that I have checked off where I've actually spent time to meet with people for anything from ideas on competitive strategies they may have to the hangout that I had with Tracy McDonald in our San Diego office, where she was talking about building an algorithm for something related to paid. And I went, algorithm? We should talk about that. You even see an instance where I flew to Dublin and met with 4 team members. So if you're scratching your head and saying, well, what did he do there? 4 of our team members, 1 or 2 of which have only been in the company for a year, flew out to Dublin with me. We went to a conference together. I got my butt back home, and then they stayed there for about a week. Even there, we allow our team members who have spent any amount of time in the company from 1 day to 11 years to pitch on why they should travel with me when I'm going to certain conferences. That systematically makes sure that we're spending time with our team members and giving them a chance to get exposure to their executive team. And it goes on and on and on. Another thing, new employees teach you things about your company that you otherwise might not have known. For instance, Lisa DeVoe started at SEER, and I've been trying to recruit Lisa for 6 years. And she finally hit me up and said, hey, well, I think it might be the right time. I said, great, when can you start? And she goes, well, I'm calling you because I'm thinking 6 months or so from now, I might be ready to start. And I go, 6 months? I go, we could use somebody like you right now. And she goes, well, I'm starting a family, I'm expecting. And I said, oh, okay, that's fine. She was under the assumption that because she was showing that a company wouldn't typically hire her. That never even crossed my mind. So of course we hired her. She worked for 5 months and then had her lovely son. And then now she's back. By talking to new employees in your company, sometimes they'll give you a perspective about your company doing something unique that you don't even know is unique. And the last thing I'm gonna put on here is to publish your values. Think about it. Awesome offices, free lunch, those kinds of things, they cost money. And that money's gotta come from somewhere. And every dollar your company is investing in something, they're not investing that dollar in something else. So it's really important to communicate to your employees repeatedly what your values are. If SEER was put on this planet to maximize shareholder revenue, then like being in Philly, I might work with big pharmaceuticals. It's a really big pharma town, and pharmaceuticals typically pay more because there's a lot more work that needs to be done given all the restrictions. However, those same restrictions don't always allow me to do the kind of innovations that I really want to do. So we're always looking for pharma companies who are hyper innovative. But, just your run-of-the-mill, everyday pharma company doesn't always really fit who we work with. Now that means SEER makes less money, and that means that SEER has to pay maybe a little bit less than someone who might want to go work at a company that mostly does pharma. By being out there with your values and what you believe, it makes it much easier for people to not feel like they kind of came into your company and got duped, and now they're complaining, they're feeling that they weren't paid appropriately, etc. You got to put your values out there so they know exactly what they're stepping into. So I hope that helps you stop the complaining about entitled employees and instead spend some time with the folks who are more than willing to help you grow and who really care about your company and see it in a new light. See you soon.